The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy. Find new roads. Best parts, best prices. Bennett Auto Supply. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation. Navionics. We start where the roads end. And Guy Harvey, artist, explorer, marine scientist, conservationist, and diver.
Want the power of a V8 with the highway fuel economy of a V6? Yes, sir. 40,000 more warranty miles than an F-150 work for you?
Sure does.
Does the lowest cost of ownership nod the Silverado got help with the decision?
It makes the decision.
Copy that.
Sold.
Chevy Silverado. Now get the best pickup coverage in America with 0% financing for 60 months. Plus, Chevy truck owners can trade up for an additional $2,000 total cash allowance, or Chevy truck owners trade up to get a total value of $7,500.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Now let's head to the Yeti Northwest region where Captain Jeff Hageman has what you need to know. You know, Jeff, Rick was telling me in the break he used to see cobia while tarpon fishing in the shallows of Homosassa. Is that the case in the whole region?
That is the case. We're going to have them cruising the beaches right now, but most of our fish right now are still offshore on the wrecks. Now, these are the close inshore wrecks out to about 70 feet of water, but you're going to still find fish cruising down the beaches, cruising in big pods of rays, and also up on the flats. 10-inch eel has been great. Sorry, guys, I just got done running. I'm out of breath. Black bass or mossback in that 10-inch eel with a 3/4 to a half-ounce jig head works really great. Or a pinfish under a cork tail hook can't be beat.
All right, what else you got for me offshore?
Captain Jason Lineberger right now is doing something a little different. Right now, most of our flounder are out deep spawning right now. So he's getting out to these near-shore wrecks in about 25 to 35 feet of water. Now, he's not fishing on the hard bottom or the wreck. He's fishing just off of it in the sand. And he's using a hookup jig head with a tail hook shrimp or a little belly strip of a bonita and working that thing real slow across the bottom, just outside this hard bottom, and catching some really nice doormat flounder up to 5 pounds. So that's a great fishery.
All right, before you go inshore, let's talk about this for a second. Man, you're blowing through your report. I know that you're tired, you're old, all the problems that go with trying to be physically fit. Bub, all right, let's back up a second. On those flounders, certainly flounders is not something that we catch in South Florida, so educate me on what's the key to catching a big flounder, and more importantly, how do you like to eat them?
As far as catching them goes, they're an ambush predator, and what they're going to do is they're going to camouflage themselves in the sand. So you want to set up in a sandy area, and these fish right now are concentrating around these rock piles and reefs because that's where the bait fish are. So they can't hide on the hard bottom, so they're just off that structure. So what you're going to do is you're going to throw that jig head as close to that hard bottom as possible and work it back real slow across the bottom in that sandy area, and that's where these fish are going to be sitting there ambushing them. And as far as eating them, there's kind of hard to beat. You can fry them, you can broil them, you can stuff them. My favorite's probably stuffing them with crab, blue crab, and broiling them. Little blackening seasoning on top of them, and you can't beat them.
All right, I know you know about eating, and that's why you're out running, trying to lose some of that. But, Bub, where you make your living inshore, give it to me.
Captain Mario Casella out of home. Excuse me. We go to redfish next, don't we?
Yeah, whatever you want to have. I don't care.
Captain Rob Gord out of St. Pete. Of course, the redfish bite has been outstanding on the top of the tide. Now, later on in the afternoon has been a better bite lately. The fish haven't been coming to chum real good. They just turned onto it. These fish right now want to chase. So topwater baits, sub walks, any of that stuff, spoon, anything that's going to move really fast, these fish want to chase now because we've got all these bait fish in the area. So live baits have been working really great. Throwing chum just got effective. So get out there, move the baits fast, and these fish will come down and run down these baits. Start chumming them, and you can get them fired up and keep it right around the boat.
All right, what else you
Most
got
of
for
the
me?
fish right now are oversized slot, so you're going to have to release them. But also offshore, inshore, Captain Mario Costello at a Homosassa reports that the triple tail bite has been nonstop for the past 3 weeks in Crystal River. Now, what he's doing is he's running the crab trap buoys and sight fishing them. He's using live shrimp or a DOA in the color 324 in the quarter-ounce size. What he's doing, he's running these crab trap pots, and the ones that are covered real well with grass or covered real well with barnacles are holding a lot more fish. I got a good picture right there. He's got a great fish. That's his son.
All right, Jeff, before we go, I got another couple questions for you, bub. Listen, I know that you're going to leave home in Tampa Bay here pretty soon, and you're going to go down south into the southwest region, Ronnie's region, and you're going to camp out there for 60 or 70 days fishing in the pass. First off, you know, when you go in there and tarpon fishing, give me a little bit of etiquette and what you should expect. How do people work the pass?
Well, there's a couple different kinds of etiquette down there. There's beach, there's pass, and there's so-and-so. The pass is you set your drift up, you come behind the guy. If you're going to set up behind the guy, you're going to come behind him making your drift too, which is actually, we drift backwards, so that would be actually in front of you because we're in reverse constantly. So you're going to come behind me. I'm going to set up my drift. Your stern will be to my bow, and then you'll follow me back through the fish or scoot over a little bit and try and hit the fish that way. That's the common etiquette. When somebody hooks up, everybody tends to reel up in the pass, gets out of that guy's way, lets him fight his fish. Usually within 5 or 6 minutes, you pull him out of the school and get him off to yourself, and you're out of everybody's way. On the beach, a little bit different etiquette. There's fly guys out there. There's live bait guys out there. The fly guys tend to stake up. You want to give them plenty of room on the beach. I'm talking 200, 300 yards, run way outside and around them, either inside of them or outside, and depending on where they're set out at. Most of the time, they're going to be close to the beach. So you either want to run right on the beach if they're outside of it, 500 yards, or way outside of them, deep, and get way around them. As you're setting up for fish, you want to approach the school, get on your trolling motor, approach your fish if you're a live bait fisherman, throw your bait way ahead of them, let them pass by you if they're going to pass by you, and don't start your big motor until they get way out of sight, a couple hundred yards, and then get on your trolling motor, go outside, and either follow them back around, let the next guy have a shot if there's somebody else there working this fish with you, or go up tide and start all over again.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much for giving us that clarification from the Yeti Northwest region. I'm going to go ahead and get to the Drummond Community Bank hotspots from your region inshore. The redfish bite on the top of the tide look for schooling fish. Live baits have been working well there. Offshore, Spanish mackerel. On the near shore wrecks and hard bottoms, that's where you want to start looking. Look for the birds and the bait fish. Use spoons and live baits, Lauren.
All right, now let's hop our jigs across the state to the Central East. That's where Captain Jim Ross is ready to let you in on all the Cobia happenings from his neck of the woods. Hey, Jim.
Hey, how you doing this evening, Lauren?
I'm great. Let's get to it.
Fantastic. You know, our migration happens pretty much every spring. This year's no exception. March is the time frame everybody expects them to show up between Sebastian and Canaveral, and that's about when they showed up. They've actually started moving on up into the Ponce Inlet area now as well. Our migration follows that 68 to 72 degree water temperature break, and that's what the temperature is actually today. To be honest with you, we got 4 today. There was multiple fish caught on multiple boats today. So it's a good time to be out there if you can get out there. The anglers in this area do a lot of sight fishing, so rather than fishing on jigging on rigs or reefs or things of that nature. So we're looking for free-swimming fish, we're looking for manta rays, bait pods, those sorts of things that are going to hold fish. Most of our fish this past week have been up and free-swimming in the 35 to 90-foot depths. And when you see a cobia and he's cruising along, you want to try and get a live bait, you know, a croaker, pinfish, shrimp, menhaden, something like that in front of him. Or some of the lures that we like to use are like the chartreuse or white-colored hookup jigs, the big 1 ounce, 1.5 ounce jobs. There's a variety of other local jig makers that make some good jigs as well. Or today we were actually catching a lot of our fish on the Rapala Glide and Wrap in that pearl color. That was really, really hot. But the silver and the bluegill color also seem to work very well on those fish. Our average cobia generally weighs about 20 to 30 pounds, but like yesterday we had a fish that was almost 50, and Captain Scott Goodwin had one that looked like it was 50 or better. So there's some nice fish still running around. And our king mackerel are in the same depths right now, so you can find fish on the Brevard Reef, on some of the inshore wrecks like the Dutch wreck. They're also on some of those slightly farther out reefs, those 8A reefs, the Pelican Flats reefs, anywhere from about 45 to about 90 foot of water right now. Live menhaden or slow-trolled dead menhaden seem to work best. You want to put them on a wire stinger rig with a VMC 9626 model hook. Now, we use the number 4 or the number 2 size trebles because they're 4 extra strong, and they seem to hold onto those baits really well and catch those bigger fish. So some of those kingfish are going into the 30 and 35 pound range this week. So, and we're using dusters on the front of the dead baits, so that seems to help out as well.
All right.
Now, for our inshore stuff, our speckled trout bite's been really good. Like Jeff was saying, the bait showed up. So our finger mullet, pinfish, stuff like that has showed up. Our large trout are roaming around on the flats between the Nassau Causeway and the Pineda Causeway. You want to look for those fish. But to catch them, you need to make long casts. And so a lot of times you can't make long casts with live bait. So we're using the Trigger X or the Saltwater Assassin soft plastic jerk baits, and we're hooking them on a weedless worm hook, either a 16th or an 1/8 of an ounce generally. And when we're fishing those in mild to moderately choppy water. The money color and the mud bug color have been really good lately, and then also the smelt color seems to be working good. And I've got a photo of Stu Phillips, and he landed a real nice speckled trout on one of the mud bug colored Saltwater Assassin 4-inch plastic shrimps. And you guys and gals need to look for that in your local tackle store. If they don't have them, I would highly recommend getting that particular color in your local tackle store, especially if you fish the Mosquito Lagoon, because that mud bug color has been really good the last couple of weeks. And then we've also got redfish. The slot-sized fish are holding in exactly the same places you're going to find the trout, and they're hitting the same baits pretty much, both artificial and live or cut baits. Now, for the redfish, though, they're running on small pods, so don't think that there's just a single fish here, a single fish there. A lot of times you can get your first angler hooked up and then have that first angler, or he's holding the fish and fighting the fish, have the second angler cast right in on top of him, and a lot of times you'll get the double hookup because they are running around in those small pods. Now, the larger fish, the oversized fish, are hitting cut or live baits at the Sebastian Inlet and at the Ponce Inlet jetties. Captain Fred was saying that they were doing really good on them up at Ponce this past week. And you can also get them in the Haulover Canal in the North Indian River that connects the Indian River and the Mosquito Lagoon.
All right, great job from the CCA East region, and I appreciate your hard work. Jim, I can hear that you're struggling with that cold. I'm going to go ahead and get to the inshore hotspots from your region. A mixed bag of sheephead, redfish, bluefish, and mangrove snappers at Ponce Inlet and jetties. You're going to use live shrimp on the bottom rigs for all of those species that he talked about. And then offshore, cobia in 25 to 60 feet of water, the depths outside of Port Canaveral, and then use large hookup jigs in white or chartreuse colored patterns.
All right, when we return, we will have the Costa Conservation Minute and pay a visit to the East region. Don't go away.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Rapala. Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Reactor, the best built performance sports watch, period. Star Bright, cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Strike Zone Fishing. Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. And Yamaha, reliability starts here.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
Have you ever wanted to go to a place where the fish are big and wild? Have you ever wanted to fish a flat and never see anyone else? Have you ever wanted to dive your very own tropical reef? Have you ever wanted to watch the sun go down on a 90-foot mothership with 10 of your friends? Sea Hunter, the ultimate Caribbean adventure.
You already know about the La Jolla Resort in Isla Mirada, so let's talk about the La Jolla experience. With an on-site boat ramp, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic is just minutes away. And when you return from fishing, there's barbecue pits to cook your catch while your family enjoys the pool or one of our new remodeled rooms. This historic resort, the La Jolla, is family-owned and operated and has a friendly staff ready to make your La Jolla experience a really great one.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation.
This Conservation Minute is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses.
Chances are you spent a lot of time in the outdoors when you were growing up. Hours spent fishing, hunting, camping, hiking, or simply playing in the outdoors helped you get connected with nature. Sadly, today's children are disconnected from nature. They spend nearly 8 hours a day on their computers or watching TV while the number of kids hunting and fishing continues to decline. And that's why the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, together with the Wildlife Foundation of Florida, created the FYCCN, the Florida Youth Conservation Center Network, to encourage kids to participate in the outdoors. A statewide network of conservation centers, the FYCCN features wild outdoor centers offering deep woods experience that connects to near outdoor sites in the communities where kids live. You can help kids learn to love the outdoors and become stewards of our precious outdoor heritage. You can help us create the next generation that cares. Go to fyccn.org to learn more. You know, Lauren, the number of kids that are fishing and hunting, that number is declining every year. And the reason why that is because not only they play the video games and whatnot, but more importantly, it's up to us as parents to pass that tradition of hunting and fishing on. I say that every year. I say it, I can't say it enough. So guys, look, it's really important to get involved and get these kids out to those youth centers and really make it happen for them.
Awesome note, Rick. All right, guys, we got to get over to our next region, which is in the east. That's where Captain Mike Holliday covers us from Lake Worth North to Sebastian Inlet. What can you share with us about Cobia, Mike?
Well, Lauren, we're kind of on the end of our late winter Cobia bite. It typically runs from about Valentine's Day to St. Patrick's Day. But that being said, there's still some fish being caught around the Rex and Fort Pierce, and then down on the south end around Boynton Beach, mostly on stingrays in on the beach. Now, we'll get another push of Cobia. It seems to be right around Father's Day, and that one lasts about 3 weeks. And you target Cobia in my region basically by running the beaches and looking for stingrays, or pushing offshore and looking for manta rays or leatherback turtles, or even big bull sharks. They really like to ride the backs of the sharks. And you'll also find them on the shallower wrecks in my area, like the Halsey wreck, the Amazon, the David T, or the Gulf Pride. Those are all real good. And Cobia really likes chartreuse jigs. So a 1-ounce hookup jig, or a 5-inch Bass Assassin swim bait, or a Die Dapper with a 5.0 VMC worm hook. Those will really turn them on. And then live bait, you can't go wrong with it, particularly if the bait's real frisky and swims away fast. So threadfin, sardines, cigar minnows, pinfish, blue runners, those are all good options, as are live shrimp or live crab or a whole dead squid. And you just basically cast it in front of the fish and let the fish swim up to the bait. Don't bonk them on the head. And the average Cobia in my area is really anywhere from like 15 to 30 pounds, but we see them upwards of 50 pounds pretty regularly. And I got a photo there just to kind of give you an example of how they like to travel with a bull shark. If you look at that photo, you'll see the Cobia in the water around that shark. And, you know, the real key here, catch the Cobia, not the shark.
Yeah, I hear you, Mike. All right, tell me what else is happening in your region offshore, bud.
Well, we're starting to see a shift in the prevailing winds from northeast to southeast, and that means we're going to get warm water, bait, and lots of floating weeds, the perfect combination for dolphins. The majority of the fish are still being counted close to shore in 70 to 275 feet of water, but the biggest fish have been out even deeper. Look for the color changes, the rips and the edges, as well as anything floating, and then schools of flying fish. There's been a lot of those around. There's also been some fish on the atolls, like Push Button Hill, which is 12 miles southeast of St. Lucie Inlet. The key is cover a lot of water, and you do that by trolling with either feathers and strips, rigged ballyhoo, or rigged mullet. You put out your bait spread, work a zigzag pattern starting in about 100 feet of water, working offshore, and then when you find fish, start working north or south in that same depth. Watch for anything floating, watch for flying fish taking off for no apparent reason, and keep an eye out in the sky for frigate birds, particularly way offshore. A lot of the dolphin we're seeing right now are 10 to 20 pounds, and when you see those big frigates diving, those are on big dolphin. We should see some huge fish coming in any day now. And I got a photo there. That's 9-year-old James Salenteri, and he was his father Jesse took him out fishing on his 9th birthday, and he caught that dolphin fishing with Captain Scott Fawcett on off-the-chain charters. So don't have to be any age. Dolphin are out there right now for everybody, guys.
All right, let's go inshore, bud.
Well, there's snook are on fire in the entire region, and it's only going to get better. Start with topwater plugs. At first light, work them on the seawalls and flats, then move to live bait and soft plastic as the sun starts to get up in the sky. At night, fish the bridges and docks, particularly on the windy nights. Captain Craig Krasinski of Jupiter, he's been telling me the big snook are stacking up on the bridges and seawalls of the Loxahatchee River. They're really focused on mullet down there, so big swimming plugs like a mag minnow or a Christian minnow in that black and silver or green and silver color, those are catching fish to 20 pounds or more, as are live mullet. And the seawalls around Old Port Cove and the Intercoastal Waterway near Hope Sound, they've got great topwater bites going right now at dawn and dusk, as do the seawalls in the South Fork of the St. Lucie River. And then the A1A Bridge in Jupiter, North Bridge in Fort Pierce, both of them got some huge fish on those right now. A lot of the snook are over the slot, but most of them are 22 to 30 inches. The other bite is kind of crazy. There's bluefish everywhere right now in the Intercoastal Waterway, as well as the Indian River, particularly the areas close to the inlet. Places like the Sailfish Point Flats, Sewell's Point and Stewart, the J.C. Park Flats, and the Turning Basin in Fort Pierce, and all the inlets in the entire region are just full of these 3 to 10 pound bluefish. Those fish are pushing inshore on the incoming tides, so that's the tide to fish right now. There's even fish up in the Intercoastal north of Jupiter. There's also plenty of fish on the beaches around Peck's Lake, Basta Beach, and the St. Lucie Power Plant. And those blues are chasing mullet. They're coming out of the backwater, so live or dead mullet, or even ladyfish chunks on a 4.0 VMC circle hook are the way to go, as well as topwater plugs, pencil poppers, just about anything that splashes and thrashes will catch your attention. And one thing you want to pay attention, they're a schooling fish. So when you hook one, you can throw right to that hook fish and catch the other fish that are following it. And some of these fish are pretty big and have some nasty teeth, so you want to bring a de-hooking device along. Average bluefish, 3 to 5 pounds right now.
As always, we got to talk the bass report. You got about 45 seconds. Go, Bubba.
Okay, it's springtime, so we're at the dry season. The water levels are way down in the Everglades canals. So places like Holiday Park and the Sawgrass Recreational Park down in South Florida, they're producing big numbers of bass. Anglers fishing the canals west of Holiday Park are averaging 50 fish. Some guys are catching 100 fish a day right now. Most of those fish are under 2 pounds. There are some big fish being caught around the bridges. The tap-out worms and that June bug, or watermelon red glitter rigged Senko style, and fish along the shoreline grass. Those are getting the school fish. If you want the bigger fish, find the lily pad fields off the main channels, and you'll crush those big fish out there in the open area.
Good job, Mike. We're going to go ahead and get to the Bennett Auto Supply hotspots from the East region. Talk to you next week inshore. The Loxahatchee River from the A1A Bridge past the Boy Scout camp. Look for snook, big jack, sea trout, tarpon, fish topwater plugs, and live mullet early and late in the day. And then offshore, kingfish, dolphin, sailfish, 110 to 150 feet of water off Jupiter. Live sardines, blue runners, goggle eyes, troll, ballyhoo with a blue and white skirt, Lauren.
All right, now it's been 2 weeks since we've been inshore. That's just a little hint about what's to come there, Rick. Now, if you guys want to find out what's on next week's Species, we're going to tell you right after this.
The Johnsons, right?
Yeah.
Which house is yours?
The one with the Silverado up front.
So, what do you do?
Well, nice.
And Bingo was his name.
The Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickups on the road. For work, for life, Chevy Silverado.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation.
Hi. I lost a big fish earlier today. Wasn't using suffix. It was about this big.
Look, slow down there, cowboy, okay? A fish in the lobster van, huh? You want your fish. Sorry, honey, that fish is gone.
Always use the best line, Suffix 832.
It's got the punch of a heavyweight and the pounds of a lightweight. Welcome to the main event featuring the new Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Tipping the scales at up to 142 pounds lighter than its 4-stroke competitors. That's a class-leading power-to-weight ratio, a haymaker of a whole shot, surprising mid-range punch, incredible fuel economy, and industry-leading innovation, performance, and reliability. The Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Reliability starts here.
If you like fishing or the history of fishing, then I have a must-see place for you. The IGFA Fishing Hall of Fame and Museum in Dania Beach. What makes the IGFA so cool is that they have theaters where you can learn about the journey of fishing, galleries where the kids can see antique reels or catch a big one. The Hall of Fame room has over 140 beautiful fish mounts, and maybe in the E.K. Harry Library, you may see a live alligator. For more family fun, go to IGFA.org.
Fish Stock, the total saltwater experience, returns to New Smyrna Beach this Memorial Day weekend. Bring the whole gang to Riverside Park for an incredible family experience. Tournaments, boat shows, seminars, kids clinics, and the Fish Stock 5K Fun Run. Visit fishstock.com to register for the Offshore Striker Tournament with an expected payout of nearly $100,000 in cash and prizes. Or the Redfish Trout Challenge with an expected payout of $15,000 in cash, prizes, and much more. Fish Stock, Memorial Day weekend in New Smyrna Beach. Don't miss this one.
Next week on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, we'll be talking redfish. Just check your listings with Sun Sports for air times.
Hey, it's awesome. Hey, you guys make sure you send your photos in for our photo contest so that you can be part of the Species of the Week, and at the top of the show, we'll talk about it. Also, thanks for tuning in to Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.
We'll be seeing ya.
Lip gloss.
I got it all played.